Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and woohoo, I got some wild GTA 6 stuff to talk about. Now ladies and gentlemen, we all know about a year ago, if you follow my channel, GTA 6 got leaked. We saw like over an hour, like 60 something videos, or 90 videos of like GTA 6 beta gameplay, okay? Development footage. You got to see basically that the game is set in Vice City, and I'm just trying to see for like sniper rifles out in the distance. Anyways, it's a game where you do some grand and you do some theft and you do it all in autos. But ladies and gentlemen, obviously GTA 6 is gonna come out. Let's not pretend that it isn't. Grand Theft Auto is one of the largest gaming franchises in the world. And for better or for worse, I like GTA 5. GTA Online's kind of a different story. It's a love-hate relationship with that. But GTA 6 is a single-player adventure that I cannot wait to bite my teeth into, okay? You know, when 2044 comes around the belt and, you know, I'm dropping my kid off to, like, university or something, then I'll come home and play the newly released GTA 6. But until then, Grand Theft Auto 6 has been leaked, and it's currently in the middle of development, and that's pretty much where it sits down into. Now, what's interesting is, throughout last year, the person that actually hacked GTA 6 belonged to a hacking group known as Lapsus, okay? For those of you who don't know what Lapsus was a group that hacked Microsoft, Samsung, Nvidia, Vodafone, Ubisoft, and Okta. Big companies. And they used multiple methods, for instance, password theft, paying employees for their access data, and of course, bypassing multi-factor authentication by spamming submissions or contacting the help desk. For a lot of people, this is known as social engineering, and while it is a massive part of hacking, it really requires like level 10 Riz and whatnot, okay? As long as you got the charisma and a lack of complete morals, you too can lie your way into any high-profile area. Yes, you too can pay $1 billion to secure your house, but if the keys are being handed out by your idiot fucking son, then yeah, congratulations. It doesn't matter how much security you put into it. Anyways, the kid that was part of Lapsus, basically there was an entire not a sting operation, but an entire like operation by multiple three-letter agencies around the world, the FBI being one of them, and they basically traced a lot of the Lapsus members to teenagers in Brazil and the United Kingdom. Now, the person in question here, publicly, they're known as Arion, okay? I'm not going to go with their last name, I'm going to try to prevent as much as I can, but anyways, this individual was a member of Lapsus and basically actually tried to blackmail Rockstar Games. They actually got a bunch of counts. For instance, 3 counts of blackmail, 9 other offenses, including fraud, and of course, they also had another partner that was actually on trial as well. And of course, there were 3 other crimes, which, of course, as you can imagine, they deny any wrongdoing. So basically what had happened over here is we all basically thought this guy would get like 10 years and they would pay like millions of dollars in fines. But it seems as though they actually kind of got away with it, if we're going to be upfront here, because they are apparently deemed unfit for trial. So this is actually a rather interesting scenario. People kind of memed on it a little bit, but it actually allowed me to look into the legal system a little bit more, which, as you all know, is one of the things that I'm super into. So hey, if I can learn something, you bet I'm going to pass that knowledge off to you, buckos. So when you hack into Rockstar Games, which might be one of the most secretive gaming companies in the world, remember, okay, you can see leaked stuff from Ubisoft all the time. I'm pretty sure Ubisoft leaks their own shit just so they can get that marketing fashion. But Rockstar is usually really tight-lipped, okay? If they're working on GTA 6, that bitch is staying under a lock and key until they're ready to show it. Well, what happened was obviously this hacker leaked out a bunch of footage, and Rockstar Games was basically forced to acknowledge this footage. Yeah, we're making GTA 6. Yeah, this isn't going to stop development time, but it actually did piss them off. You might be wondering all this did was build hype for Rockstar, but you can imagine this absolutely threw the biggest wrench into their marketing plans, and it probably really did kill some hype for people who like looked at footage and they're like, damn, GTA 6 looks like shit. It looks like crap in the development footage. It must be crap when it comes out. That's a very real type of person. And unfortunately, Rockstar relies on every type of person for sales. So if you take away a dime from them, they're gonna be pissed. Now, this kid was so stupid, all right, in terms of how they actually hacked. Remember, going to jail for leaking a video game might be one of the dumbest things imaginable. But it wasn't just like blackmailing Rockstar. The biggest blackmail actually came out to when this kid had allegedly messaged every single Rockstar employee in the company Slack that, we're gonna release the GTA 6 source code. Now, source code, obviously, for some of you who don't know, is basically the underlying code that is used in any project, any video game, any software. It is the guts of a program. So the most important part of the source code is not necessarily even the game data. If this kid leaks out the game engine, right, Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, and a lot of those industry trade secrets that Rockstar uses to create these massively in-depth open worlds, that could ruin Rockstar in the gaming world. Remember, there is something about Rockstar's video games where when you play their open world titles like GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, the world simulation is still unmatched compared to other games out there. So obviously, their secret sauce is very much valuable to the company. Having that leaked out would have been terrible. It wouldn't be like, hey, they leaked out this game, anybody could download the source code and probably compile it. Didn't necessarily work that way. But if they had specialized functions, specialized parts of game development, specialized ways to simulate the world that were leaked out, that could be very detrimental to the company. And obviously, nobody was taking that shit seriously. So source code aside, the kid got probably the best possible outcome for this, where a psychiatrist actually assessed the 18-year-old and said that we're not fit to stand trial. And so instead of actually going up to trial, the jury is going to determine whether they committed the acts alleged rather than deliver a guilty or non-guilty verdict. So to understand in legalese, this is known as non compos mentis, which is basically a Latin phrase that translates to having control of one's mind. So it's actually used in 13th century English law to describe people that have been afflicted by madness, a loss of memory, or the ability to reason. So effectively, this kid, from what I understand, even back then, was known to have autism, and it must be pretty severe autism to the point where they're not socially capable of handling or understanding what they did. To realize it's not easy to get the insanity or to get this kind of placation. To understand, in the United Kingdom, the process, from what I understand, involves with you going up to the judge, and basically the judge has to be convinced that there is a reasonable ground to deny somebody's mental capacity. And judges are not stupid, okay? Judges, it's really hard to bullshit a judge on this specific case. After that, you have to go to a psychiatrist who prepares an opinion, a report that actually stands to that person's ability to stand trial. They then present this to the judge, who then has a fitness hearing on that report, and they look at all the evidence and come to the decision. There are a lot of pillars and stopgaps and people to help prevent the bullshitting in this case, which is basically what it appears to be. Now, this kid seems like, from what I understand, since this isn't really going to trial, what's going to happen is he's going to spend some time in a behavioral facility and come out, and that's pretty much what it's going to be. There might actually be civil charges in this case too. Remember, these are just criminal stuff we're talking about, but with the amount of money that this kid has caused damages to, not just Rockstar Games, we're talking multiple $1 million worth of damages to numerous companies. This kid probably has a lot of civil charges coming their way that could bankrupt them for generations to come. One of the things that people have said is maybe they gave this kid the unfit for trial so they can shuffle him to a 3-letter agency to get hired, which is so far from the truth. Life is not a Hollywood movie, okay? You don't have to you don't have to understand that social engineering is not necessarily the most complex intellectual thing to do. Obviously, this kid is not the greatest hacker in the world. They're not going to put him into a cybercoms unit anywhere anytime soon. This is just a social engineer, a kid that had way too much free time, sat in their home, basically hacked a bunch of these companies by hitting up the help desks and getting a bunch of identification that they shouldn't really have had access to begin with. And that's pretty much how this whole story goes. For a lot of companies that got hacked this way, I'm sure that there are cybersecurity teams who are having the rigmarole explanation of why not to fall for the dumbass that calls you on the internet or on the phone and pretends to be this individual. That's pretty much what's going on. So yeah, life kind of sucks for this kid, and based on the fact that they're unfit for trial, I genuinely hope they do get the help they deserve mentally, because it's not easy to bullshit that charge. This person probably has some real issues, and I do hope they come to terms with that. But of course, their civil charges, I mean, I hope the best there too, but dog, when you're putting your foot into the goddamn dragon's den like this, expect to get burned. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings an end to the GTA 6 hacker saga. I guess you could say in a way that the hacker got away with it. But getting away with it isn't as simple as it seemed. So hopefully you learned something today. Hopefully, this made you look at things in a different way. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.